Hey everyone, welcome back to Forecasting with Friends. Our set looks a little bit different. So we're actually here in the Weather Center where I have all my computers, 4 here, but a ton more over there, and some of the monitors that we actually go live from. So, we'll be switching it up on you guys. So you guys get to see a little bit of where we get to be in studio. But it's been a busy day. If you joined us on Wake Up or Houston's Morning Show, we've been talking all things Hurricane Beryl. And let me tell you, this is an impressive, at least from a meteorologist standpoint, looking at the tropical satellite, which we'll get to. This is something that you would normally see August, September, not something that you would see on July 3rd. Now, there has been maybe a little bit of dry air trying to, wrap into this thing. Not a ton. I think there's going to be a bit more of that dry air come, late Wednesday and into Thursday. But this storm has already been deadly, has already been catastrophic for the landfall that it made in the Windward Islands just yesterday, about this time yesterday. And the thing is, we could be seeing a second landfall on the island of Jamaica, potentially a third landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula, at least if the track verifies from what we're seeing right now. And then what's after that is the western Gulf Coast. And there's still a lot of uncertainty with the latest models. We have the European model, which has it tracking much further south, whereas in the latest really 2 model runs of the GFS or American model and our exclusive Fox model, it's been a little bit further to the north. So needless to say, there's a lot of uncertainty, but what I've been trying to mention is that we got to wait till tomorrow, see if this system does start to lose some of its steam. It decreases in intensity, and what the area of high pressure does that we're seeing out over the United States. So a lot going on, and just know that we've got your back here at Fox 26. We have tropical updates for you all day long. We have Forecasting with Friends, our morning, noon, evening shows. We've got you covered on air and online, so just know that you can stick with us. But we want to take you out to some stories that not just us here at Fox 26 are doing, but really Fox nationally. And we're talking about the warm waters in the Atlantic, and that actually has made Beryl one of the strongest storms this early in the hurricane season. Again, I mentioned it's July 2nd and we're looking at a Cat 5 hurricane. Fox's Gary Baumgarten has more on the early devastation in the Caribbean.
Hurricane Beryl continues to intensify as it becomes the earliest Category 5 hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean. The National Hurricane Center reports the storm's wind speeds reached 160 miles an hour late Monday as it eyes Jamaica's shoreline. This comes after Beryl made landfall in Grenada's Caracau Island as a Category 4 hurricane earlier in the day.
It has been a long morning, and perhaps an even longer morning for our brothers and sisters in Caracau and Petit Martinique who are bearing the brunt of Hurricane Beryl.
Grenada's prime minister reports at least 1 person is dead from the storm as authorities continue to assess the damage.
The expectation is that the damage in Caracau and Petit Martinique is going to be extreme.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines also reports at least 1 death after the storm battered the island's boats and buildings.
90% of the houses have been severely damaged or destroyed.
Meanwhile, some shop owners in Barbados say the storm hit the island harder than expected.
I didn't think that the damage would be so much. I just come to open the shop to check on it, but now I realize it is much more than I thought.
Others say they are planning for a long rebuild process.
The damage is, right now, I'm real heartbroken because this is a lot of work. This is more than a week's work here.
The National Hurricane Center says Hurricane Beryl is expected to pass near Jamaica on Wednesday. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Thank you so much, Gary. Now, I think a lot of folks are looking, okay, it's the 4th of July holiday week, and guess what? Folks are going on cruises, but as Hurricane Beryl is forcing actually some major cruise lines to make some pretty big changes. So listen to this list: Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, Disney, and Celebrity Cruises are altering their plans to avoid this storm, and for good reason. But folks have all of their excursions booked. So what are they going to do? Well, these changes include maybe shifting port dates, trying to divert to different ports, and substituting those stops. Now, there have not been any cancellations at this point, which is good news, but experts say that Beryl could have lasting effects on cruise lines and their itineraries, depending on how much damage it causes.
Some of these destinations on the Eastern Caribbean may have, or Southern Caribbean, they may be, recovering from Hurricane Beryl and not in any position to accept passengers. So a lot of this stuff is still very much in flux.
Now, if you were one of these folks that were planning on going on a cruise and you have concerns about your travel, just reach out to the cruise line directly. They're going to have all the details that you need to know. Now, let's switch over to Mexico, because several states there are struggling to deal with the aftermath of Tropical Storm Chris. You remember it formed for just about 4 hours earlier this week. Well, at least 500 homes were damaged and dozens of cars submerged in the floodwaters from the storm's heavy rain. Chris did make landfall on Mexico's eastern coast just yesterday. According to the Mexican State Civil Protection Authorities, 5 temporary shelters have been activated. Now, Chris formed, but all eyes were on Beryl because of that rapid intensification. So, we don't want to not think about the folks down there, as we're going to likely see Beryl make its way into the Gulf of Mexico sometime late this weekend, if not early next week. Now, just in time for hurricane season, the Houston Fire Department is unveiling its newest state-of-the-art evacuation boat. You guys, take a look at this. So awesome, and it's going to help first responders reach people during floods. Hey, it was much needed a few months ago, and we were seeing flooding here. It's something that the fire department has been asking for to improve their response time.
Hurricane season's up upon us. We have another named storm right now, so we have Tropical Storm Chris. Houston floods, and we know how it floods, and we've become very good at chasing water. So we understand how this water flows, and this is the boat that's needed out here to serve the citizens out here.
So that brings the total number of evacuation boats to 22, thanks to funds from City Council. So great. Hopefully we don't have to use it, but it's always good to have that additional boat. 22 is a good number. But coming up in just a bit, we're talking 4th of July travel and what you can expect right here in Southeast Texas. Don't go anywhere.
Fox 26 is your Gulf Coast Weather Authority. And while our area is vast,
this storm could bring widespread flooding and dangerous winds to our entire...
Our forecasting zeroes in.
These storm cells over the ship channel are particularly dangerous.
From your community.
Memorial Park is getting hammered right now with heavy downpours.
Right down to your neighborhood streets.
We're starting to see the water rise along Buffalo Bayou.
It's hyper-local coverage from your Gulf Coast Weather Authority. Only on Fox 26. Fox 26 News at 9. Our breaking bond reports hold judges accountable.
A 20-year-old charged with manslaughter.
The News Edge at 10. Your clues help find the missing.
Her son never made it to his
investigations that get results. Weeknights on Fox 26. Engaging and shareable. Visit the Fox 26 Houston Facebook page. Need a legal question answered? Fox 26 legal expert Chris Tritico can help.
But this may be a pretty sizable claim that your sister has.
Just send your legal questions to fox26law@fox.com. Then tune into Houston's morning show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. to hear your questions answered. The news doesn't stop on weekends.
We're learning more details about a story we first brought you yesterday morning.
And neither do we.
But as we head throughout the afternoon, that's when the rain starts moving in from the southwest.
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends with Denise Middleton.
Well, now to a story you'll see only on Fox. The family of a beloved bartender in North...
And meteorologist Allison Gargaro.
Right now, we are seeing some of the heaviest rain start to push off to our...
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends, Saturdays and Sundays beginning at 5 a.m.
The Fox 26 Weather app with more features in one easy-to-use screen. Current weather at a glance, high-resolution interactive radar, severe weather alerts, video forecasts, and much more. It's the power of your Gulf Coast Weather Authority in the palm of your hand. The Fox 26 Weather app. Download it today.
The Fox 26 YouTube page, your home for the best Fox 26 has to offer. The latest news.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Collins. Topping the rundown.
Our most popular local programs like the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Why the hell are so many people burned out?
And stories you may have missed from series like Breaking Bond.
The quicker we get a grasp on what's happening.
Sullivan Smart Sense and The Missing.
Please pick up the phone and call the police. Remember, you can remain anonymous.
The Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to Forecasting with Friends. We are in the Weather Center, so a different change of scenery. But, okay, you live in Houston. You've just stepped outside to, take the trash out, take the dog on a walk, and it is hot and sticky out there. We're talking a heat advisory, once again, for the northeastern viewing area, in effect until 7 o'clock today. So that means you're likely going to have your AC on full blast. Fans on, close all the window shades. This is as the state looks at doubling the fund to expand our power grid. Officials project demand for electricity is expected to nearly double in over the next 6 years. So our very own Shelby Rose is live at a cooling center this morning with more.
This fund that was initially set aside to help expand Texas' power grid sat at $5 billion. The purpose of it, which was approved by voters last year, is to incentivize the development of new gas-fueled power plants by offering low-interest loans. Well, these loans have gained more traction than originally thought. They say Texas has already received notice of intent to apply for $39 billion in loans, a stark difference from the $5 billion set aside. So that's exactly why they're wanting to double this program to a total of $10 billion in hopes of building more plants ASAP, although it will take several years before that happens. But there's already development happening in the Permian Basin that, coupled with population growth the state has seen and will continue to see, we're looking at even more power usage happening over the next 6 years.
So what I was referring to is that going from in the 80 to 85 gigawatt range where we are today to 150 in 2030 is almost a doubling of the ERCOT total peak demand over a 6-year period effectively. So it's a fairly significant step change.
Now, this location we're standing outside of is just one of many that have been set aside for cooling centers in the Houston area. We do have that full list posted for you on our website, fox26houston.com. And if you do need a ride, all you have to do is call 311. Reporting outside the 3rd Ward Multi-Service Center, Shelby Rose, Fox 26 News.
Thank you so much, Shelby. Well, there are dozens of cooling centers around the city of Houston today. So if you need one, you can actually find the full list at fox26houston.com. You can also call 311, just like Shelby said, if you need a ride. And of course, you can always stay cool at one of the many public libraries that we have in your area. Go to the mall, the movie theater, whatever you can do to stay cool. But maybe you are a road warrior. I like to go on road trips. Well, before you hit the road for any of your 4th of July weekend getaways, let's make sure that your car is ready to help you arrive safely and get the best gas mileage. Want to save that moolah. Consumer reporter Heather Sullivan asked a AAA representative in Texas to see how you can prepare.
All right, before you head out for a road trip, we recruited Doug Shoup with AAA Texas to help make sure that your car is safe and ready for a good long drive. So what's the first thing we need to check?
You want to inspect your vehicle because nobody wants to break down on the side of the road any day of the year, but especially when you're heading to a vacation. So you want to check, of course, your fluid levels. Make sure all of your fluid levels are topped off. Check your battery. Make sure all of the clamps and the cables are tight. Heat and vibration are the 2 worst enemies for a battery. We can't do anything about the heat, but you want to make sure your battery is really secure. If it's vibrating a lot, it reduces the life of your battery.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, what about tires? What should we be checking there?
Tires are crucial for safety, but also for saving money on fuel efficiency. If you're driving on underinflated tires, you're wasting money. So you want to make sure that your tires are not only properly inflated, but also make sure you have enough tread on those tires. You can use a tire tread gauge or simply a quarter will work for that. What you do is you put the quarter upside down, you put it in the grooves of the tire. Now you cannot see the top of George Washington's head. That means this tire has enough tread. But if you can see the top of George Washington's head, that means your tread is too low, and you really should replace that tire before the long road trip.
You know, oftentimes I'll see people with lots of luggage on top of the car, but that's maybe not the best idea.
It really isn't. If you want to save money, try to put all of your luggage inside the vehicle. Put your luggage in the trunk of the vehicle because if you put it on top, you know, using those luggage racks, that actually creates drag and reduces your fuel efficiency.
Okay, good tip. And I see you've got a car emergency kit, right?
Absolutely. Just in the event that you do encounter road trouble, you want to have that emergency roadside kit. Of course, AAA Texas will be there to rescue you, but you want to have bottled water in case you do break down and you're waiting for help, or just some simple tools in a roadside assistance kit. A warning triangle, very important to let other drivers know that you have broken down. Jumper cables, gloves, a flashlight in case you're driving at night, even like an air pump would be good, a portable air pump, very helpful. Just basic tools that you would have that could help out should you encounter some roadside trouble and you're waiting for AAA to come rescue you.
I think we're ready to go. And
ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready for a good, safe journey. Thanks a lot, Doug. We
Anytime.
appreciate it. All right, and we will send things back to you.
Such good tips. Thank you so much, Heather. And if you need repairs on a road trip, but you're not exactly sure where to find a reputable mechanic, AAA offers a list of these certified repair shops. You can find a link on Sullivan's Smart Sense on fox26houston.com. Okay, 4th of July and pets. Two of my favorite things. And you have the heat, the fireworks, and all of those extra 4th of July snacks for your sweet little pups and kitties, but they can take a big toll on them. So Fox's Rebecca Castor has more on how you can keep dogs and cats safe as you mark Americans' independence.
The 4th of July is almost here, and Americans will be having a blast over the long holiday weekend. But the celebrations should be sparking concerns in pet parents. According to a new survey by Rover, nearly 3/4 of cats and dogs are afraid of fireworks.
They don't understand where it's coming from, so we want to keep them safe inside our home.
Best ways to reduce anxiety: keep your pet indoors, tire them out during the day, use a thunder shirt or a pressure wrap, and make sure they have a safe place to retreat. If all else fails, consider asking your vet for medication to keep them calm.
And then, of course, close all your windows, close all your doors. That's going to help with the sound.
42% of dog parents say their pup has tried to run away during a fireworks display. For cats, that number pounces to 64%, and about a third of those animals actually escaped.
A pet who's in an anxious state will do extreme things.
If your animal does get out, experts say they're likely nearby.
Those first 24 hours are the most crucial, so get on the streets, start looking. And remember, they're most likely going to be hiding. They're really scared, and they don't understand where those fireworks are coming from.
Around the 4th, shelters see an influx of lost pets, according to the Humane Society, making this a good time for pet parents to ensure their tags are up to date.
Make sure that number's super clear to read. If you're going to be staying away with your pet for the 4th of July or a holiday, it should be a number someone can actually reach you at.
And with all the 4th of July barbecues, make sure your pet isn't able to sneak a bite of human food that can be dangerous to them, like onions and chocolate. Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Such great tips. Thank you so much for that, Rebecca. Well, a lot of folks excited for the 4th of July, me included. You know, you have a barbecue, making up some hamburgers, hot dogs. You know, you're hanging out in the pool. You want to know what's the weather going to be like. Well, let's just copy and paste what we're seeing today for your Thursday. Because the good news is rain chances are going to be pretty low. So honestly, I think we'll take that just because there's nothing worse than having clouds and rain in the sky when you're trying to watch an awesome fireworks show. But on the flip side of that, it's going to be hot. I mean, we talked about cooling centers and that folks are having to use their AC. And, you know, it's not going to stop for your Thursday, which is our lovely 4th of July. Steamy to start. By 9 a.m., we're at 86 degrees. By lunchtime, we're at 95. And then by 3 p.m., 97. And the thing is, you don't get much relief. So even when the sun goes down, you're trying to watch the fireworks, it's still going to be humid. I mean, feels like temperatures likely will be in the triple digits through at least 7 o'clock in the evening. So you need to make sure that you're staying safe enjoying the fireworks. You know, maybe you're celebrating, well, for the rest of the week and into the weekend. Weather's going to be warm. I will say by this weekend, we actually could be seeing some scattered showers move back into the forecast. That would drop temperatures a hair and by a little bit, you know, down to the low 90s rather than upper 90s. So I guess we'll take that. But for the actual 4th of July, it is going to remain hot and humid. But let's transition overseas to Greece, where firefighters are battling wildfires on 2 islands. The country's prime minister is warning people to expect what he's calling a, quote, dangerous summer. We know a lot of folks like to go there on vacation. Greece has more than 50 wildfires in a 24-hour period. That is just truly incredible. Several of them are still not under control as of this morning. Drought and high winds are blamed for creating those wildfire conditions, and it's something we're going to continue to watch for you because it's wildfires overseas. But let's talk about flooding here in the U.S. Stick with us. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'm going to have details on your... Oh, just kidding. We're actually going to go back to our New Mexico story where we were talking about flooding. And, you know, that state doesn't get a ton of rain. So this is the video that we were talking about from the site of some of that severe weather. The National Guard rescuing 100 people over the weekend. And it is actually very extreme to see this there. Communities that recently dealt with wildfires are now full of mud and debris from those floodwaters. So we talk about one extreme to the other. Wildfires create some scarring, and so that the second there's heavy rain that comes, it's just mudslides. I saw this when I worked in California a lot through the Santa Barbara area, and it's just truly devastating and so difficult to see that video. Well, stick with us. We have an update on Hurricane Beryl and an update on your forecast right here in H-Town.
Fox 26 is your Gulf Coast Weather Authority. And while our area is vast,
this storm could bring widespread flooding and dangerous winds to our entire...
Our forecasting zeroes in.
These storm cells over the ship channel are particularly dangerous.
From your community.
Memorial Park is getting hammered right now with heavy downpours.
Right down to your neighborhood streets.
We're starting to see the water rise along Buffalo Bayou.
It's hyper-local coverage from your Gulf Coast Weather Authority. Only on Fox 26. Fox 26 News at 9. Our breaking bond reports hold judges accountable.
A 20-year-old charged with manslaughter.
The News Edge at 10. Your clues help find the missing.
Her son never made it to his
Investigations that get results. Weeknights on Fox 26. Engaging and shareable. Visit the Fox 26 Houston Facebook page. Need a legal question answered? Fox 26 legal expert Chris Tritico can help.
But this may be a pretty sizable claim that your sister has.
Just send your legal questions to fox26law@fox.com. Then tune into Houston's morning show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. to hear your questions answered. The news doesn't stop on weekends.
We're learning more details about a story we first brought you yesterday morning.
And neither do we.
As we head throughout the afternoon, that's when the rain starts moving in from the southwest.
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends with Denise Middleton.
Well, now to a story you'll see only on Fox. The family of a beloved bartender in North...
And meteorologist Allison Gargaro.
Right now, we are seeing some of the heaviest rain start to push off to our...
Fox 26 Morning News Weekends, Saturdays and Sundays beginning at 5 a.m.
The Fox 26 Weather app with more features in one easy-to-use screen. Current weather at a glance, high-resolution interactive radar, severe weather alerts, video forecasts, and much more. It's the power of your Gulf Coast Weather Authority in the palm of your hand. The Fox 26 Weather app. Download it today.
The Fox 26 YouTube page, your home for the best Fox 26 has to offer. The latest news.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Collins. Topping the rundown.
Our most popular local programs like the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Why the hell are so many people burnt out?
And stories you may have missed from series like Breaking Bond.
The quicker we get a grasp on what's happening.
Sullivan Smart Sense and The Missing.
Please pick up the phone and call the police. Remember, you can remain anonymous.
The Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Welcome back to Forecasting with Friends, everyone. We are so happy to have you here, but we want to get to the forecast. That is going to be important today. All eyes are on Hurricane Beryl, and we did get an update coming down from the National Hurricane Center at 10 o'clock, so about an hour and a half ago, and winds dropped by just 5 miles per hour. But take a look at this satellite. It actually looks pretty wonky right now, as there's not much convection on the west side of the storm, but there's a ton on the east side. Outer rain bands in Puerto Rico and over the Dominican Republic as we speak. So max winds at 160 miles per hour. Pressure increased a little bit as well, but we're likely not going to be seeing this decrease in intensity really anytime soon. Likely going to be moving over, if not nearing, the island of Jamaica as a major hurricane sometime on Wednesday. Then it's going to decrease as some dry air gets wrapped in it and some wind shear. But then talk about uncertainty. It gets into the Gulf of Mexico this weekend, and take a look at how broad the cone is. That's where the center of circulation could be, anywhere within that cone. So, you know, if we see some of that drier air get wrapped in, our European model has this more of a westerly and southerly track, but our Fox model and GFS still are favoring a bit more of a northerly turn. But here you go. Take a look at this plume of dust, which gets wrapped into the storm. It makes it almost difficult to see with the Fox model there, but it is showing, just like our GFS, that yes, we'll likely see interaction with Jamaica, moving over the northern portion of the Yucatan, and then it wants to continue it up right toward the Mexico and Texas border. So that would be much more northerly than what we've been seeing in some of the model runs before. But I quickly want to show you the other Category 5 hurricane that formed in July. That was Hurricane Emily back in 2005. It did not become a Category 5 hurricane until it was actually just south of the island of Jamaica. So Beryl is actually much bigger than that. But you can see where it ended up making landfall was just south of the Texas border, but it was officially in Mexico. So, you know, we're going to continue to monitor things for you. There's a lot going on, still a lot of uncertainty. So make sure you stick with us. I think we'll have a much better idea come Wednesday into Thursday. So always remember, you can join us right here on Forecasting with Friends. We talk all things weather with some of our friends. Join me back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. and I'll be on the news at noon, coming up in just about 30 minutes. Have a great rest of your day.